Hi everyone,
Morning.
and
Morning.
welcome from Norwich. Dinah's here. She just wanted to say hi to your clients, didn't you, Dinah?
I did, yes. I've had several messages from people saying, "Where are you? I haven't seen you." So just to say hello, but I'm not really the chat person. It's Shakura today.
Good morning, everybody.
So
Shakura's
hi.
in the background looking after the chat. So just say good morning where you're from. It's really rainy here today, but it's not too cold, so we're going to be fine. Okay, great. So last week we did some new stuff. We did some shaking exercises, if you remember, and we did some breathing exercises. And the reason we did that is because we feel that quite a lot of our clients now, you've had like 3 months of being locked down or even isolated. And what can happen then with the nervous system is it can actually start to freeze up different parts of your body and they can get really blocked. And depending on whether you're more in the red zone, more in the sympathetic nervous system fight or flight zone, or whether you're more in the freeze zone, or you may be just going between the two of them, it will depend on how your body energy deals with it. And the most common thing that can happen is it can start to block up. You can maybe get a bit of pain or numbness, and your body just isn't moving right. And so what we started to do is we started to use the breath and some shaking techniques. And the shaking techniques are really good because what they do is they kind of simulate what the body naturally does when it releases tension or stress in the body. So we're going to follow that up today, do some more on that. But before we do that, let's find out how you're doing. So let's just find out generally what your stress level is. I think some people are finding it a little bit hard to come out of lockdown, actually. So let's just see where you are in terms of your general coping, whether you're coping well, you're okay, neutral, or you're stressed, or if you're still very stressed. And we'll just see where we are with that. So I'd just like to answer that poll. Okay, all right. So we've still got about 18% or are still feeling stressed. Some of you are neutral. Most of you are neutral or coping well. So that's really good. Okay, great. So we've done that poll. Now, just to explain the whole nervous system thing again, it's basically the green zone. That's where we want to be most of the time. That's when we have social engagement. We feel in the present and grounded. When we get stressed, that pushes us into the red zone. We either go into like a flight pattern where we feel a bit fearful or anxious, and that's designed to get us away from danger. The other way we can deal with danger is to fight it, and that's when we get irritated, frustrated, but sometimes that can spur us into action. Now, it's okay if we go into the red zone, into the green zone, we're moving between the two, but what we really don't want to see is you going into the blue zone, because that's when we start going into the shutdown phase, where we start to lose energy. What happens is the body energy feels it's under extreme threat, and it will tend to shut down a bit. What we need to do then is to get you out of that blue zone. So if you're feeling like a little bit depressed, a little bit numb, maybe you feel a bit of shame about the fact you've got no energy, you're feeling like you're shutting down, that tends to show that you're getting into the blue zone. So we really need to know where you're at with that. And we've got a poll for that, which is our which zone are you in poll. Okay, I think I can hear a bit of feedback. I don't know if you've got your mic open, either Dinah or Shakura, but I can hear a little bit of feedback there. So if you could turn your mic off, let's see. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Okay, great. Okay, yes, so let's have a look. Let's see where we are. Right. Now, you see, the thing is, we've still got around almost 10% of you are going between the red and the blue zone, and they're the people that we really want to make sure that we work on, and particularly those 15% who feel definitely in the blue zone. We really want to help you there. You might not be feeling too stressed, but you're feeling kind of down and rather kind of shut down and everything, and we really want to move that on. Okay, just to warn you though, when you come out of that blue zone, you can get symptoms, and that's kind of a good thing, but you might feel certain symptoms as you go down through and deactivate out of the blue zone. So just watch out for that. If you need help, Shakura's on the chat. She's a very experienced therapist. She can help you through with that. And I would encourage you to book in a one-to-one session. We have got availability now. We're not quite at the point of opening up face-to-face yet, but that will happen in the next maybe a couple of months. But until then, we have been very successful helping clients out individually, and it's on a donations basis. So if you do need one-to-one help, particularly those of you who are in the blue and the red zones, please do get in touch with us. Either book directly online on shiatsucenter.co.uk, or if the link isn't there, you can email Shakura and she'll book you in. Okay, so yes, okay, I think we definitely need to do some unfreezing work today. And those of you that are still in the red zone, it's a case of deactivating that, so you feel a little bit more chilled out and you get down into that green zone and you start to feel what it is to be a human being, those special things of feeling compassion and mindfulness and joy, even being in the present. And I think that's really the challenge, isn't it, of the COVID days for us, is to feel that we can feel some joy and we can be in the present and not be always worrying about what's going to happen in the future. Okay, so that's one of these exercises are designed to do that, bring you into the present and start deactivating ourselves. Okay, so third thing we're going to do is we're going to find out which of the burners you want to work on. And I'm sure if you've I'm sure many of you have done this many times, haven't you? Because we've got a really good loyal following for these exercise classes on a Wednesday morning. Okay, and so we're going to do the 3 burners. I'm going to take you through. I'm going to do it myself, and we're just going to check in and see how the 3 different burning spaces of Chinese medicine are today. We're going to bear in mind that what we want to do is get you out of that any tendency to be stuck in the blue zone. Okay, so let's do that. Let's close our eyes. Okay, and let's do it internally this time. We're not going to place our hands on it. We're going to do it internally. So I'm going to get you to just sit or stand. And closing our eyes, we're going to bring our awareness down into the lower burner. So we're tuning into the area below the navel, down into the pelvic floor, down around into the sacrum and the lower back. And just feel that whole area there and get a feeling for how it is. Okay, you got it? Got maybe some images or some words for that? And we'll draw that in the lower burner space. Okay. Okay, and if you've been following these for the last few weeks, you no doubt have a memory of what you were like a few weeks ago. So you can compare that and see what it's like. Ideally, the lower burner should feel kind of calm, but kind of solid and warm as well. Okay, if it feels a little bit unstable or it feels empty or you can't feel much there, then that indicates we need to do some work. Okay, very good. Okay, excellent. Okay, 2 more to go. So let's go up to the middle burner now. Let's do it. Let's not do it with our hands this week. Let's do it internally, placing our hands in our lap or on our legs. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to take our awareness internally down into the middle burner, which is above the navel. It's around the whole diaphragm area and encompasses the stomach and the liver and the lower thoracic spine. Okay, so let's just tune into that area and see what that's like. Now, if you don't think you can feel much, just compare it with the lower burner and ask yourself the question, does it feel exactly the same? And if it doesn't, what's the difference between the middle burner and the lower burner? Okay. Right. Got it? Good. So let's draw that and compare it with the lower burner. And also in your mind, you're probably thinking, it was different from what it was like last week. Okay, now the middle burner ideally should be fairly cool, not too hot, and it should be very free flowing. The most common things that happen to the middle burner is it gets obstructed. That's the liver qi. Or you can get heat, sometimes stomach heat. That's another Chinese medicine syndrome. So you want it to be kind of chilled, relaxed, and open. So if you're feeling any heat there or feeling any tightness, then that's something that we really want to work on. And if it's tight and numb and you're in the blue zone, then we've really got to help you with that, because that means the whole thing's kind of shutting down and kind of seizing up. All right. But we can work on that. Okay, we can do that. Okay, I have to emphasize there's no shame at all in what happens to your body energy system. It's just your energy system and your nervous system doing its absolute best to protect you from perceived threats and from stress. It's really trying to help you all the time. The trouble is when you go into the blue zone, that's actually a very primitive part of the nervous system that was designed for reptiles. So it shuts, a bit like you see snakes or lizards, they kind of shut down and they become immobile. And that's what's happening to you if you go into the blue zone. It's your body trying to protect you as best it can. Okay, but it's not so good for mammals because we like to move about and we need to keep warm and we need to keep active and socially active. So we want to try and get you out of that. Okay, upper heater, let's go, right? So again, let's not touch there. Let's just put our hands by our sides and internally tune in. So let's go in. Oh, I've got somebody doing some building work next door. I'm just going to close the door. I'm just not used to that. I'm used to it being very quiet around here with the lockdown. It's definitely building work is happening around the centre of Norwich. Okay, so let's go into the upper zone. And that's the whole lung area and the heart area. Okay, and we're going to tune in to that upper burner internally. Okay, so now what does that feel like? And again, sure you've got a picture by now or some words, so I'm going to write some on here. And the upper burner should be like a mist. That's what they say in the Chinese classics. The upper burner should be like a mist. It should be nice and spacious, quite cool, a little bit damp. And what you don't want is too much heat there, dryness, and you certainly don't want too much constriction around the heart. And that you can get sometimes get like a tight feeling around the heart if you're under stress, or even a numb, blocked feeling. And that's, again, if it's more numb, it indicates that you're going into the blue zone. All right, so let's find out which of the 3 burners that you'd like to work on today. I would like you to pick the one that you think you most need work, and just let us know, and I'll focus the exercises today trying to get you unfrozen and moving. Let's see what we've got. Now, last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of really, really big emphasis on the upper burner. And before that, we were getting a lot of lower burner, and that kind of makes sense because that's the way how it kind of works. The adrenal system kicks in the early stage of lockdown. And now when you get more emotional obstruction, that tends to affect the upper burner. Okay, so this week it's chilled out a bit. We're a little bit more even, everyone. Okay, it looks like that all that work we did last week on the upper burners really had an effect because that's balanced out now. In fact, we're pretty much balanced. A little bit more emphasis on the middle and upper burners. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so just check my camera, see how I'm doing. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, great. So let's go. First thing we want to do is we want to try and what we want to try and do is we want to try and make sure that we unfreeze any areas or deactivate any areas of stress that put us into the red and the blue zone. And we're going to do that by scanning through our body, and we're going to use shaking and breathing to release those areas. Okay, so first step is to close our eyes, and we're going to scan through our body, a bit like Basti's done a few times in previous classes. We're going to scan through our body. So we're going through the head, through the jaw, and we've got our eyes closed. So we're scanning through the throat, through the shoulders, down our arms. We're just taking our mind's eye through our body, through our chest area, upper burner, through the middle burner, through the lower burner, and then the hips, the knees, and the feet. Okay? Now I'd like you to just assess how you are and just notice if there's any areas that feel a bit numb, feel a bit blocked, or they might feel a bit tight, okay? But they just don't quite feel like they're part of you, okay? And we're going to shake them until they do release, and we can feel a kind of oneness in our whole body, all right? So just pick one area that you want to do. It could be both your hips, it could be your shoulders, neck, jaw, anywhere in your body. Just pick the place that you really want to release. Okay, and we're going to start off by breathing into that area first of all. Okay, the way we do that is we take the breath in, breathe in, relax the diaphragm. We imagine the breath going to wherever that tension is. Okay, or holding is, and we breathe out. As we breathe out, we release that area, okay? Let's do that a few times, breathing into wherever you want to release. And you use the imagination to send the breath into that area and then breathe out slowly and release, okay? Breathing in. Breathing out, releasing. Breathing in. Breathing out, releasing. Okay, so now pick that area and we're going to start releasing it with the shaking, okay? And we start off with a very, very small shake, a very, very slight shaking, a very slight shaking there, okay? And we keep breathing into that area. Okay, now if you're on your own and nobody can hear you, okay, or if you don't mind other people that you're exercising with, a good thing to do is to make some sounds as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to breathe into that area. Okay, and then what we're going to do is imagine a sound in that area and we're going to use the sound to release it. So I'm going to go on the out breath, okay? You make any sound you like, high or low, whatever you feel helps release that area wherever it is. Okay, let's do a few of those, okay? Breathing into the area. Think of a sound that you think will release that area. Okay, so we keep doing that. Just experiment with the pitches and the sound. Okay, very good. One more. Breathing in. Very small shaking. Okay, and then just let it die away. Okay, checking in time. All right, so now relaxing. Now look what's happened. If you now bring your mind's eye into that area that we use the sound and the breath to release, you notice that it feels kind of alive and kind of released. In fact, it probably feels more released than many other parts of your body. So let's pick a second place. Scanning through again, you probably find now, almost certainly find that the first place that you picked is released and you've got some other area that's going, hello, hello, please release this area, okay? So we're going to pick a second area, okay? Tune into it internally, breathing in. Imagine the sound that you think will release that area. And then we're going to send that sound into the area and shake it very gently. Okay? And again, breathing in. Okay, very good. Just one more for that second area. And we're going to just increase the shaking a little bit to make it a little bit more vigorous. Ready? Breathing in and breathing out. Very, very good. Right, so now check this out. If you close your eyes now and scan through your body again, just pay attention to those two areas that you've released with the breath and with the sound. Don't they feel good? Okay, you can feel they're alive and they're moving. And that's a really, really good way that we can stop our whole body energy freezing up. And you can do that at home. You can continue that for maybe even 20 minutes, half an hour, and going to the third, fourth, fifth place. By the time you've been doing that for 20 minutes, you'll find your whole energy system completely cleaned out. Okay, really good for those of you who are going into that blue zone. If you're in the blue zone now, I recommend you do that like every day for like between 10, 15 minutes, maybe even twice a day, until you start feeling a little bit more alive and a little bit more movement there. Okay, excellent. Okay, so now we've all freed up, right? Everything is much, much better. So now it's time to take our attention away from our own body and connect with heaven and earth. Remember that? So let's just do this exercise a few times, this Tai Chi starting exercise, where you just literally sink down, float your arms up, push yourself up, and let your arms go down. This is a beginning movement for Tai Chi, okay? It's like this. So let's just do it together, first of all, without any particular emphasis. And we're just going to just breathe in, sink down, okay? Breathe out, and go up. Breathe in, sink down, and breathe out, go up. Okay, now as we're doing this, I want you to just see what's easier for you. Is it easier to sink down? Is it easy to sink down and hard to push up? Okay, or does it feel hard to go down there like that and easy to push up? Okay, you'll probably find there's a bit of an imbalance there, and that's the imbalance between yin and yang, between the earth and the heaven, in Chinese medicine terms, in Taoist terms, okay? We want to balance that out because we don't want to feel like we're continually getting heavier and heavier, freezing up and becoming immobile. That is not a good place to be, okay? So we've freed ourselves up, and now it's time to either lighten ourselves up, which is probably what most of you are feeling, or to get ourselves grounded. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do it with this exercise, but we're going to focus our attention. So first of all, let's concentrate on our feet. Roll our feet around a bit and open up that kidney 1 point, that point right at the sole of the foot. And we're going to link down. We're going to go down through into the ground, right, opening up the foot. Okay, we're going to keep the legs nice and relaxed. Okay. And let's try this, focusing on the legs and the earth beneath us. We're going to sink down, breathing in, and we're going to push up really strongly up as we move upwards, okay? So we're opening, relaxing the legs, sinking down nice and easily, pushing up from the earth. Okay, let's just do a couple more, breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Okay. Sinking down into the legs, into the floor. Imagine your weight going to the center of the earth and pushing up from the center of the earth. Okay, very good. So we keep the legs as light as we can, but they're solid and connected. So we feel connected with the earth. If you're feeling a little bit giddy and a bit too high up like this, then you're going to need to do that and ground down. You know, if you're feeling too soggy and heavy and can't be bothered with anything, you need more yang energy, and that comes from the heavens. So we need to connect with the heavens now. All right. First step is to get that spine alignment sorted out. So we do that by concentrating on top of the head and imagining a golden thread linking us up into the heavens, okay? And that's a wonderful feeling because once we get that feeling, we can feel the whole body hanging from that golden thread. So let's see if we can get into that feeling. I want you to imagine that golden thread's really strong and it's literally holding you. You can relax your whole body, but you feel light. It's almost like you can just float up on that string, okay? Get that sense of lightness into our whole body. Very good. Okay. Now the sacrum is hanging down. It's like a pendulum on that thread. But that light feeling is what you really need once you've released any frozen parts or tense parts in your body. It's that lightness that gives you a bit more hope and a bit more feeling of activity. That's that yang energy. Okay, so let's get that into every cell of our body by breathing and doing this simple exercise, yeah? So we're linking that golden thread up to the heavens. We're really light and we are going to float down like a feather. Look at that. And the hands float up. Doesn't that feel good? And then we're just going to lift up the head top and with almost no pressure on the ground, we just float up. So different from how we did it before, okay? So let's try it, okay? Let's try it again. Alignment, floating. Can you feel that floating? That's it. Look, it's almost like you're in water, right? Breathing in, floating, breathing out, floating up. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, keeping all the joints really open and light. Now, if you're doing this at home and you're doing this and you think, oh, do you know what? I think I've got some more bits of me stuck. What you can do is go back into the making the noise and the shaking, get those bits unstuck, try it again. And what you're looking for is a freedom, a unity in the whole body so that you can plug in that light yang energy feeling into your whole body and it's not going to get stuck anywhere. You see, if I tense my shoulders up, look, it's kind of gets stuck there. I could shake that out, use the sounds, oh, and then I'm back floating again. So if you're feeling right in that blue zone, why don't you do that for this week until next week? Every day, spend some time shaking out and just doing this exercise until you can feel that lightness through your body. That'd be a really good thing to do. Okay, cool. So now we get onto the burners. And most of you are middle and upper burner this week, but we do always need to anchor everything in the middle burner, don't we? So let's just rub our hands together and to anchor the lower burner, and then we can open up here. Cool. Okay. Now, kidney 1 is one of the most important points in the body. It's used in Qigong to anchor ourselves to the ground. It's almost like the root point that goes through into the earth. The kidney channel runs up the inside of the leg and it runs up right into the lower burner here. So it's kind of a really good thing to energize the lower burner and connect it with kidney 1. So why don't we do that this week? We're going to open up kidney 1 again by opening up the feet, stretching them open, and we're going to relax and we're going to use our imagination to connect down right into the center of the earth. So we've got a lot of strength there lifting us up. And we're going to place our hands over the dantian area, that's 1.5 inches below the navel. And we're going to just literally do this rubbing exercise, okay? Keeping the shoulders really relaxed. And as we're doing this, we're opening up kidney 1, releasing the ankles, releasing the knees, releasing the hips. Just see if you can feel like a sensation running all the way from your feet into this part of your abdomen. And if you can do that, that means you've got an awareness or you're opening up the kidney channel in the legs, which is really an important channel for feeling grounded and also for just general energy, just keeping your general energy levels going. Okay, now if you keep doing that, you'll feel warmth and that energy starting to penetrate into your lower dantian there, okay? And what the idea is, we want to try and get it to go right the way through so that it comes into the back here, around the sacrum and the lower back. Okay, so how far have you got? Probably got about a quarter or half the way through. If you don't have any tension in your shoulders and you can do this exercise, what you can do now is bring your hands behind your back and you can start circling around the lower back. Okay, but if this creates tension in your shoulders, don't do that. Just keep doing this one and keep projecting the energy from the front into the whole hara. Okay, and the idea is we're going to try and get them to meet, the energy to meet from the back to the front. Okay, so I'm going around here, around the lower back lumbar. There's a very important acupuncture point right in the middle of the lower back there. Okay, that's the kidney, that's the associated effect point of the kidneys. So all of the organs, the body, have points all the way down the back. And the one for the adrenal system is right there in the middle of the adrenal system of the kidneys, basically, is in the middle of the lower back there. And then, interestingly enough, embryologically, the lower hara actually connects up in a shape like this that encompasses the adrenal glands and the kidneys. So there is an actual embryological facial connection between here and the adrenals, which is here, which is kind of surprising, but it makes sense of the Chinese acupuncture channels and also the association with calming the adrenal system by stimulating this area here. Okay, and that's what we're basically doing. That's why it's a really important first step. It's just regulate the adrenal system to try and get you in a kind of calm space where you can deactivate if you've gone up into the blue or the red zone. Okay, so this is a fundamental exercise. So let's just see what it's done. Okay, checking it out. So now we're going to tune in. And those of you who wanted to work on the lower burner, if you go down now, you probably feel much warmer, kind of activated here. And if you've been keeping your focus on your feet as well while we're doing it, you've got that nice feeling connection between the lower burner and kidney 1. It's a really good calming and stabilizing thing that we can do to regulate the nervous system. Okay, excellent. Okay, so now we're going to move up. We're going to move up onto the middle burner. Now, middle burner, as I mentioned earlier, really wants to be freed up. It's one of the ones that you're going to feel a lot of the red zone and then finally into the blue zone sensations in your body. And one of the things we need to do is we need to keep that middle burner moving. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it with some Qigong exercises and with some doing, some tapping exercises. Okay, so let's just feel around here first of all. I'd like you to just feel around the middle burner, see how it feels. And if you press gently in with your fingers, it should feel pretty relaxed and open. And if you feel any kind of tension there, or any stiffness, or maybe even some discomfort there around the diaphragm, you see I'm actually pressing here. I'll just give you a close up right around the bottom of the ribs here. If you feel any tension around there, it goes into the lower back, lower thoracic. Okay, that's an indication you've got some obstruction there. So we want to do something about that, right? And we've done this exercise before. This is a really good one. This is this twisting exercise. And again, regulated depending on how blocked you think it is and how much energy you've got. You may want to increase it to a real strong exercise like this. Okay. Or you may want to just keep it nice and easy and focus in. Main thing is we're going to focus the movement on this middle burner here. And the way we do that is keeping the hips straight, so we're not twisting them too much. Like that. Okay, keep that straight. And then move the upper body like this and let the arms hang free. Okay. Now I'm going to add something else into this. We've done this lots of times before, so you should be pretty okay about this. I'm going to add in something, which is what tends to happen when you release the middle burner is the heat tends to rise up the body. We've had that before in classes where people have felt a bit like giddy, or they felt sometimes like you can even get a headache sometimes, or feel nauseous going up the body. And that's quite often happens when you release any obstruction here. We can balance that out by using kidney 1, because kidney 1 has a very soothing and grounding action, and it will tend to balance out the heat that tends to gut the body. All right, so check this out. We're going to keep moving. Okay. Now, if you feel any kind of warmth happening in your middle burner when you start releasing it, I'll show you how you can balance that out yourself. This is exactly what we would do in Shiatsu, what an acupuncturist would do. So probably select out points on the feet that tonify the yin or the cooling aspects of the body, right? So just try this. Keep going. Tune into the middle burner. And now, with your attention, I'd like you to open up kidney 1. In other words, imagine the feet opening up. And I want you to imagine this like cool liquid coming up from the earth, water coming up from the earth. Okay, and that cool liquid's going up the kidney channel, which is up the inside of the legs. It's going into the lower burner. And the lower burner is getting nice, relaxed, and nice and cool. Okay. And then I'd like you to imagine that cool connection with the earth is now going up into the middle burner, and it's just freeing and lubricating and cooling it, okay, cooling it down. It's almost like you're kind of diluting that any heat or any obstruction there. It'd be like dissolving it with that coolness. So let's stick with that image, that cool energy from the earth coming up and freeing up, diluting any blockages in the middle burner. Okay, and we're going to keep going with that. You got it? There you go. You see that feeling? It tends to make it more comfortable, doesn't it? And that's yin energy from the earth going up. This is how they explain it in Chinese medicine anyway. yin energy, cooling energy coming up from the earth, and it's helping any heat or obstruction in the middle burner. Okay, checking in time. Okay, so let's just see what's happening now. We're going to close our eyes for a second. Now, what you should feel is a nice feeling connection through the legs, because we've done a lot of work connecting with the lower burner. And look at that middle burner. You see, it's starting to really feel a lot more space and kind of cooler. Okay, you might get a bit of activity there if you're unfreezing, but the main thing is you feel some kind of change here in the middle burner. Now, I think that needs a bit of help with some meridian work, don't you? I really do, okay? We'll give it a bit of help, and what we're going to do is we're going to help move that middle burner stuff, and we're going to help chill it out and cool it out using the kidney channel. Okay, this is how we're going to do it, okay? We're going to tap the sides of the body, and you can use loose fists or cupping, depending on how strong you want the work to be, and I'll let you judge that yourself, okay? Okay, we're going to work down the outside of the legs. This is a gallbladder channel. It relates to the middle burner. It's very good for frustration and any sort of obstruction in the middle burner. So this is moving the energy of the middle burner down the outside of the legs. And we're going to go up the inside of the legs, behind this adductor muscle here, down the outside of the legs. Okay, take it really easy. If you're feeling very, very tired, you can always just sit down and just imagine you're doing this. That's another good way of doing it. Okay. What we're doing here is we're definitely shifting anything that's obstructed in the middle burner. Okay, well done. Okay, very good. So that's the liver and gallbladder channels. Now let's see if we can work on the stomach channel. That's on the front of the body. Tapping again down the stomach channels. And up the spleen channel, that's on the inside front of the leg. Down we go, down we go. And up the inside. Down the outside. Front of the legs again. Remember this point, the 3 mile point, if you need a bit of an energy boost. Just below the knee on the outside there. Up the inside. Very good. Okay, so that's 3 times around the outside of the front of the legs. And they're the ones we use to shift this. And I bet you, if you check in now, look, if you close your eyes, you feel that kind of middle burner is a little bit more drained if it's a bit too full, or a bit more activated. And that's the channels there, the stomach and the liver and gallbladder channels. Okay, so following on from that cool liquid we had coming up, soothing the middle burner, why don't we just give it a bit of a help by opening up the kidney channel? So what we're going to do is we're going to use Doin for that. And we're going to tap from behind the ankle, gently tap up the back inside of the legs. I'm just going to do that 3 times. Okay, so you see what we're doing now? We're starting to go a little bit deeper into the connections between the burners, and we're getting some strategies here to help us balance them out. By interacting the burners together. Okay, and this is all like Chinese medicine stuff. It's the kind of thing that acupuncturists or Shiatsu practitioners would do if you came for a face-to-face session, or if you had a one-to-one session with us. This is the kind of things we've been doing, going a bit deeper into the whole thing. Okay, cool. Right, let's check in. Okay, so now let's close our eyes, and we're going to feel the lower burner and the middle burner. Okay, pretty good. Okay, what we're looking for is a nice calm but active lower burner, energized but kind of calm. And we want this to be moving. Now, if you've unlocked some of the stuff here, you probably feel quite a lot moving about, quite a lot of activity, but that's fine for now. But you should definitely feel some change here if it felt obstructed. So that's your middle burner and your lower burner. Okay, excellent. So now we've got to the upper burner. two main things that happen here. We've got the lungs and we've got the heart and the pericardium. Okay, so long-term stress can have effects on the upper burner, and it can definitely put it into the blue zone. And there's definitely things that happen there. We can either get an obstruction in the breathing, so the breathing becomes shallower. That's one of the things that happens when you go into the freeze response. The breathing gets shallower, and that's one of the main reasons why you feel kind of so low, because you're not getting enough oxygen in. The other thing that can happen is the heartbeat can actually start slowing down, and again, it's putting you into that deactivated state where you need more oxygen and a kind of more vitality in the upper burner. So we're going to go for vitality, but in a calm kind of way. We don't want to overstress it. So we're going to do some nice easy exercises. Okay, well, let's do a mixture of qigong and a mixture of doin for the upper burner. Always really good. And checking out, just check this out. We're going to do a stretch first. I'm going to show you how you can use the meridian stretches to assess the channels and then check them afterwards. So what I'd like to do is put your hands up like this, okay? And bring your thumbs up, okay? Breathe in, okay? And then breathe out, and you're bringing your arms up and slightly back until you can feel a sensation in the thumb, okay? We got that? That runs down the arm and into the chest around here. This is where the lung channel runs, okay? Okay, now I just want you to just get in touch with your breathing and see how comfortable the breathing feels and what this stretch feels like. Okay, it could feel like tight, kind of tight with the breathing obstructed, or it might feel a bit numb, again, with the breathing being very low, okay? So remember that, okay, and let's see how that feels in just 5 minutes of doing some work, doing some exercises, okay? Now, if you're feeling a little bit low in energy, this is a really good exercise to do. This is a lung exercise, and you can do it slowly or quickly. You can either do it with the breath. So we're going to do it with the breath this week. We're going to bring it up, do it really slowly, breathing in, and we're going to breathe out. Breathing in. Nice and slowly. Now, if you're in that blue zone or you think you're moving into the blue zone, what we're going to do is we're going to emphasize the in-breath. Okay, so we're going to go. And I want you to imagine you're bringing energy in from the heavens, if you want to think of it like that, coming into your body and energizing your whole body. Now, if you're in the red zone and you're a bit hyped, okay, maybe you're in fight or flight, we're going to emphasize the out-breath. So it's. And what that will do is that will send a signal to your nervous system, and it will start regulating the heartbeat mainly, okay, and the breathing. It will send a message to your brain that you're in this place of safety, and it will start to kind of calm you down, all right? So if you're feeling a bit numb and a bit depressed and low, we're going to activate it. Got it? If you're feeling a bit hyped and you want to calm down, we're going to deactivate it. Okay, now let's just keep doing that. I'm going to keep a neutral. I'm going to keep neutral because I'm kind of like in the middle, so I'm not going to go either way, but I want you to really tweak it depending on what you need. Do you need to get out of that blue zone? Or do you need to calm out of the red zone? Okay, so let's keep doing it. Nice and slowly, inhaling, exhaling, and emphasizing the inhaling or the exhaling, depending on what you need. Okay, now keep doing it, and I'll give you some internal pointers. We want that alignment to be there, floating. Let's get that floating. Remember that feeling? Everything is light. Everything is light, feeling light. That cord from above is suspending us. And we're opening the shoulders, okay, with the breathing. So breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. Keep that floating feeling, releasing the shoulders. Yeah, that's really good, okay? Now, by now, if you've been doing the breathing, you'll probably have it's had quite a strong effect on you. Okay, so we just do it for a few more breaths. So you're either going emphasizing the in-breath or emphasizing the exhalation, okay? And if you want to make it really strong, you want to make it longer. So if you really feel you're in the blue zone, you want to go. And if you feel you're really in the red zone, you need deactivating, you're going to go. Okay, because there's a direct connection between the nervous system, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, and the breathing. So breathing regulation is the easiest way that you at home can keep regulating your own nervous system, okay? So anyway, really well done. That was quite hard to keep that going, wasn't it, for all that time? But that's really good. And we've got a nice floating feeling up there. That was really good too. So let's check in now, okay? So what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to just check into your upper heater and feel your lungs, and what you're listening or feeling for in your lung area is like an activation, a tingly feeling, and an open feeling here in the upper chest. Okay, so let's give it a bit more of a zap because we're going to do some doing. Again, if you're feeling a bit weak, you want to keep it nice and gentle, maybe using cupping. But let's do some doing on the lung channel, lung and large intestine channel. Okay, we start off tapping here. I'll give you a close up here. That's around this area here. Okay, and we go down the arm, through the elbow here, and then we go down towards the thumb. Okay, that's the lung channel, and the paired channel is up here. Okay, we're just going to do that 3 times. And we're going to particularly emphasize this area here and down this channel here, because this is the lung channel. And we'll see in a minute how much effect that's going to have, because we're going to do the stretch again and we're going to check it. Okay, so that's 3 times. We'll brush off. Okay, and then the other side. Down. Okay, cool. Isn't that good? Right. Okay, so now check this out. Okay, this is a really good bit. Remember that stretch we did before where we went like this? Okay, now try it again. We're going to lift our hands up, concentrate on the thumbs, okay? And we're going to just stretch that. And now look what's happened now. Certainly I can feel it going back about 3 or 4 times further. It feels really comfortable. I can't feel any real tension down there anymore. The main thing is that it feels really free up in this upper burner area here. Okay, got that? Quite a change, right? And that's a really important way of getting out of those blue and red zones, using the breathing just like we've done it, okay? So there we go, fantastic. So we've got a little bit more time. So we've got time to check out the pericardium and the heart, we'll do that. And then we'll just do some work on freeing up the yang channels in the head and neck, just to finish up. Okay, so let's just do some stretches this week for the pericardium and the heart. We're just going to calm the upper burner down a bit by doing this stretch. So we go forwards like this, and we breathe out, we come back, okay, and we're going to do nice long exhalation. We're focusing in towards the middle finger. Okay, that's the middle finger here. And we're going to relax it down. Okay, breathing in, breathing out, and down. Breathing in, breathing in, and breathing out. Okay, there's a direct connection between that channel and the pericardium, and that's really good for calming down the heart, freeing up, especially if you've got any stiffness around the heart organ area. Okay, very good. So now let's just do a stretch for the heart. This is one of my favorites. We put the hands in the prayer position like this. We bring our hands up above us like this, and we stretch them back towards the wall behind us. We're going to breathe in, Keep the alignment, open up the armpits, breathing in, and very gently pressing the fingertips back towards the opposite wall. You'll feel a line of tension from inside your chest down into your little finger. Okay, we're just going to hold that for 3 breaths. Nice long breaths. And then stretching up, and then down, and then round. Okay, very good. Good, so we've got 10 minutes left now to just do some work on the yang channels. And that's a really important area to work, because the yang channels, you know, you get quite a lot of headaches, not you, but I mean, one does. Some people get headaches, some people get stiffness in the neck with tension, stress, and that's because the yang channels, that's all these channels that run down here, quite often get blocked up. So we want to keep these nice and free. So let's just do a little bit of a routine here for 5 minutes, just tapping around some of these channels. They tend to go away from the eyes, around the head, like this. It's good to get the brain working here, just stimulating the brain. Okay, and then do a little routine for the head. This is a nice thing to do. Hold the forehead and turn the forehead like this. So just massaging the forehead. Pressing between the eyes here. That's a really important point for eye strain. And pressing around the eyes. And then try this. There's some really good points here for the eyes and for the sinuses, just underneath the cheekbones here. So we can press around the cheekbones. It's a really nice thing to do. And this is a really important place, isn't it? The jaw, because you get a lot of tension. Quite often you get jaw clenching, teeth grinding, things like that. So it's a really good idea to just work around the actual jaw area. If I give you a bit of a close up there. If you follow the cheekbones around, you naturally go right into some of the most important points for the jaw, which are around here and here. And then if you open your jaw, you'll find that this is kind of like just in front of the ear here, the tragus, there's some points there. If you press them, you won't be able to hear what I'm saying, by the way, because it blocks the ear up. But just if you do that, you can kind of get in behind the jaw, and there's some very important acupuncture points that are used to treat the ears and also the jaw around here. Okay, so this is a really good idea to work around there. And then once we've done that, we can go on the top of the gums of the teeth like this, and then around like this. It's really important to do these type of things if you are starting to go into the blue zone. The reason for that, as we talked about last week, is because all these muscles that are used for smiling are connected to the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is really important for regulating the freeze response. So basically what will happen is, as you go into the blue zone, one of the things you'll notice is your facial expressions will become much more kind of immobile, and you lose a sense of like vitality in your facial expressions, and that's a sure sign. Okay, and so by just doing this and smiling and getting the jaw released, we're activating all these muscles that are all connected in to the brain via and connected indirectly into the vagal nerve, connects to the heart and the lungs. So it's all connected up. Okay, so it might just seem a superficial thing working on the face, but actually it's a very, very important part regulating the nervous system. Okay, surprise. Okay, so now let's do this technique on the neck. And this is great for releasing any tension around the neck here, working down. So I'm just squeezing in and working down different lines in the neck here, starting off around the spine and then working further and further around until you get to the SCM muscle. And there's a whole load of channels you can't really miss. They all go down like this, and a lot of them go down into the shoulders and the arms. So once we've done that, then once you feel you're happy about that, we can then pick it up with this technique, either supporting the elbow or just tapping around the shoulders. Okay, and then it's a good idea to go down the arms, down the outside of the arms, because a lot of the channels run this way and they run down into the hands. So a lot of these points on the hands are used for treating the eyes and the nose and the ears and the face and headaches and all sorts of things. Okay, so basically that's what we're doing. We're following these yang channels from the neck down outside of the arms. Okay, so we've done quite a lot this week. We've made some connections with the lower burner and middle burner. We've done some really good focused breathing exercises, and the idea is to make sure that we get you out of that red and blue zone and we get you right in the green zone. So far we've got 15% of you totally in the green zone, and we want to get all of you there. Okay, it's fine to move out into the red zone every now and then, because that kind of kicks us into gear and it gets us to do stuff, even though we might be a pain to those of us around who live with us. But it's an important part of the nervous system. But what we don't want is we don't want you going into that blue zone. And we've given you lots of hints this week for making sure that you can gently move yourself out of that blue zone and activate yourself and lose that sense of depression that can come along with that. Okay, and that's our challenge in the COVID times, is to use all these traditional resources that we've built up over thousands of years to help us keep happy and active and humans amongst all the stress. So let's just check in now and see how we've done. Okay, I just want you to remember back to how you felt at the beginning. Remember, we picked up 2 places that needed releasing. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing as you. I'm going to close my eyes, and I want you to scan through and check out those 2 places that you shook and put the sounds into. Okay, and just notice how much they've changed, how much freer they are. Okay, and now let's check out the 3 burners. Let's go into the 3 burners. Okay, so we're going to go to lower burner, middle burner, and the upper burner. Okay, good. Now just check out and see how much change there's been there. If you've released that middle burner, you might even feel a bit of heat there, because that's all part of the process towards balance. Okay, and so sometimes you kind of feel a little bit weird when things, especially when they come out of freeze, you're going to feel a bit weird, but that's okay, because that's movement, and you're going to feel more alive. Okay, which is the aim of the game. Okay, so now we're going to check out heaven and earth. Remember whether you felt heavy when we did this exercise. Let's just do this exercise once to check in. So breathing in, okay, and breathe out. Okay, now remember I asked you, is it easier to go down or easier to go up? And I'd just like you to check in and see whether it should now be a lot more even in terms of being able to move up and down. It should feel quite smooth. You've got that alignment, and you shouldn't feel too heavy, like you're sinking down, or too floating up like this. Okay, just nicely in the middle between yin and yang. Okay, excellent. Okay, thank you very much. We've all done tons. Thank you very much for looking after the chat, Shakura. It was a really, really good session this week. I really enjoyed it myself. I needed it as much as you did, I can believe me. So before we go, let's just find out how you feel now. Do you feel more balanced, about the same, or less balanced? Okay, bearing in mind that if you feel less balanced, that's almost certainly because you're coming out freeze and you're starting to feel maybe heat moving around the body, and that's perfectly natural. Okay, that's pretty much a good thing. If you felt about the same, I would recommend that you just keep with the exercises. You probably just need to do more of them. Pick the ones that you feel really benefit you, and and we'll pick you up next week and we'll continue with it. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Great. We had 92% of people feeling more balanced, and we just had a few people with reactions, so that's really cool. Okay, great, good. And I hope you enjoy it. And thank you very much for all of you who are donating. That's really helped. We managed to just about get through 3 months now. And so we're hanging on in there. And we hope certainly in the next few months, we'll be able to get some of you at least back in to the Shiatsu Center under COVID conditions to do face-to-face sessions. But we are having a lot of success with one-to-one sessions over the internet. And if you haven't tried one yet and you feel you need support, please do that. We're still working on a donations basis. And a really big thank you to all of those generous people that have helped us survive over the last 3 months. It's been absolutely wonderful to feel your support and to know that you care, that we're still here and we've still got this building and we're still going to be here for you when everything opens up again. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Shakura, for being on the chat, and thank you. everyone for tuning in, and see you next week. Tell all your friends, okay? Tell all your friends. We've still got plenty of space here on the morning class at Shiatsu Center.